Hello, friends. Are you having trouble with the real estate exam? If you have any doubts in your mind regarding this exam, and if you want to clear this exam in your very first attempt, then I request all of you, please watch this video from start to finish so that you get clarity on what type of questions are asked in the exam and you clear your exam in your very first attempt. All right, friends, let's get started with this video.
Question number 1. A property owner tells a neighbor, "You may use my vacant lot for parking until I tell you otherwise." No written agreement is signed and the owner later revokes permission. What interest did the neighbor have? A. Easement appurtenant. B. Leasehold estate. C. License. D. Profit. Apprender. Correct answer, C. License A. License is revocable permission to use another person's property. Question number 2. A commercial investor purchases an apartment building that generates $180,000 in annual net operating income. If investors require a 7.2% capitalization rate, what is the estimated property value? A. $2,160,000. B. $2,500,000. $2,400,000. Correct answer, B. $2,500,000. Value NOI. Question number 3. A broker accidentally tells a buyer that the seller will likely accept $80,000 less than the asking price without first obtaining the seller's permission. Which fiduciary duty was most clearly violated? A. Accounting. B. Confidentiality. C. Obedience. D. Reasonable care. Correct answer, B. Confidentiality. A. Client's negotiating position must remain confidential unless disclosure is authorized. Question number 4. A. County approves construction of a church in a residential district because the zoning ordinance specifically allows that use after review and approval. What zoning approval was most likely granted? A. Variance. B. Rezoning. C. Police power. D. Conditional use permit. Correct answer, D. Conditional use permit. Conditional uses are allowed only after approval under the zoning ordinance. Question number 5. A buyer receives ownership of property and the deed is properly recorded the next day. A week later, another person claims ownership through an earlier unrecorded deed. Which legal concept most directly affects priority? A. Actual notice. B. Constructive notice. C. Recording acts. D. Estoppel. Correct answer, C. Recording acts. Recording statutes generally determine priority between competing property claims. Question number 6. A lender offers a mortgage with a fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. After that period, the rate adjusts periodically according to a published financial index. Which loan is this? A. Adjustable rate mortgage. RM. B. Blanket mortgage. C. Reverse mortgage. D. Bridge loan. Correct answer, A. Adjustable rate mortgage. RM. ARMs begin with an initial rate before future adjustments occur. Question number 7. A shopping center owner charges tenants for maintaining parking lots, landscaping, sidewalks, and common lighting. These shared expenses are commonly known as A. Transfer taxes. B. Capital gains. C. Common area maintenance. CABN charges. D. Special assessments. Correct answer, C. Common area maintenance. KM charges. KM charges allocate shared operating expenses among commercial tenants. Question number 8. A property sells for $960,000. The annual net operating income, now Y, is $76,800. What is the capitalization rate? A. 6.5%. B. 7.5%, C. 8.5%, D. 8.0%. Correct answer, D. 8.0%. Cap rate =, NOI due value $76,800 due $960,000 =8%. Question number 9. A title examiner reviews every recorded deed, mortgage, easement, and court action affecting ownership before issuing a title commitment. What is the examiner primarily preparing? A. Closing disclosure. B. Survey report. C. Abstract of title. D. Loan estimate. Correct answer. C. Abstract of title. An abstract summarizes the recorded history affecting title. Question number 10. A property owner asks a city to allow a garage to be built 5 feet closer to the property line than normally permitted because of the lot's unusual shape. Which zoning remedy is most appropriate? A. Conditional use permit. B. Variance. C. Rezoning. D. Non-conforming use. Correct answer B. Variance A. Variance permits relief from zoning requirements due to unique property hardship. Question number 11. A broker continues negotiating with a buyer after the listing agreement has expired. The property owner observes the broker's actions, says nothing, and later accepts the buyer's offer. Which agency concept most likely applies? A. Universal agency. B. Agency by ratification. C. Agency by estoppel. D. Dual agency. Correct answer B. Agency by ratification. A. Principal may ratify an agent's previously unauthorized actions by accepting them. Question number 12. A commercial borrower obtains a short-term loan to purchase a new office building before selling an existing property. Which financing method best fits this situation? A. Reverse mortgage. B. Construction loan. C. Blanket mortgage. D. Bridge loan. Correct answer. D. Bridge loan. Bridge loans provide temporary financing until long-term financing or another sale occurs. Question number 13. A seller fully transfers ownership. The buyer pays the purchase price and every contractual obligation has been completed. The contract is now best described as A. Executed contract. B. Executed contract. C. Voidable contract. D. Bilateral contract. Correct answer A. Question number 14. A buyer purchases an investment property for $1,950,000. The property produces $156,000 in annual net operating income. What is the capitalization rate? A. 7.2%. B. 8.0%. C. 8.5%. D. 9.0%. Correct answer B. 8.0%. Cap rate =NOI due value $156,000 due $1,950,000 =8%. Question number 15. A broker without authority signs a listing agreement on behalf of a property owner. The owner later reviews the agreement and formally approves the broker's action. Which legal principle applies? A. Agency by estoppel. B. Special agency. C. Agency by ratification. D. General agency. Correct answer C. Option agency by ratification. Ratification occurs when a principal approves a previously unauthorized act. Question number 16. A title company discovers a recorded court judgment against the seller that may affect ownership rights. Which encumbrance has most likely been found? Easement appurtenant. B. Judgment lien. C. License. D. Trade fixture. Correct answer B. Judgment lien. A judgment lien may attach to a debtor's real property. Question number 17. A buyer personally walks the property before closing and observes an obvious driveway crossing the land that serves a neighboring parcel. Which type of notice is most applicable? A. Constructive notice. B. Actual notice. C, inquiry notice, D, implied notice. Correct answer B, actual notice. Personally observing a condition gives the buyer actual notice of its existence. Question number 18. A shopping center owner charges tenants for snow removal, security patrols, parking lot lighting, and landscape maintenance. These expenses are generally classified as CAM charges, B, property taxes, C, transfer taxes, D, capital improvements. Correct answer, A, COM. Charges. COM charges cover the maintenance of shared commercial areas. Question number 19. A county requires a developer to dedicate land for future public streets as a condition of subdivision approval. Which government power is primarily being exercised? A, escheat, B, eminent domain, C, police power, D, taxation. Correct answer, C, police power. Police power allows governments to regulate land use for public welfare. Question number 20. An appraiser values a single-family residence by comparing it with several recently sold similar homes and adjusting for differences in size, location, and condition. Which appraisal approach is being used? A, cost approach, B, income approach, C, gross rent multiplier approach, D, sales comparison approach. Correct answer, D, sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach analyzes adjusted sales of comparable properties. Question number 21. A homeowner tells a broker, "Go ahead and negotiate the sale even though we haven't signed a listing agreement yet." The broker negotiates a contract, and the homeowner later refuses to pay a commission. Which legal issue is most significant? Adverse possession. Correct answer B, statute of frauds. Brokerage agreements generally must satisfy applicable writing requirements. Question number 22. A buyer purchases an apartment building, producing $240,000 in annual gross rental income. Similar buildings in the area sell at a gross rent multiplier GRM of 8.5. Using the GRM method, what is the estimated property value? A, $2,040,000, B, $2,400,000, C, $2,160,000, D, $2,520,000. Correct answer, A, $2,040,000. Estimated value, equal sign, gross income to X GRM, equal sign, $240,000 to X 8.5. Question number 23. A property owner silently allows a broker to continue acting as an authorized representative after the written agency agreement expires. A third party reasonably believes the broker still has authority. Which agency concept is most applicable? A, universal agency, B, agency by ratification, C, agency piled, special agency. Correct answer, C, agency by estoppel. Question number 24. A commercial property sells for $1,875,000. The lender finances 76% of the purchase price. How much is the buyer's down payment? A, $393,750, B, $450,000, C, $1,425,000, D, $375,000. Correct answer B, $450,000. A 24% down payment on $1,875,000 equals $450,000. Question number 25. A homeowner owns land bordering a navigable river. Which water rights generally apply? Littoral rights, B, riparian rights, C, appropriative rights, D, air rights. Correct answer B, riparian rights. Riparian rights generally apply to land bordering rivers and streams. Question number 26. A county adopts an ordinance limiting building heights to preserve public safety and neighborhood character. Which governmental power is being exercised? A, eminent domain, B, taxation, C, police power, Eshkreet, correct answer C. Police power. Police power allows governments to regulate land use for public health, safety, and welfare. Question number 27. A buyer receives a title report showing a recorded easement benefiting a neighboring parcel. Even after the property is sold, the easement generally continues because it A. automatically expires after closing, B. runs with the land, C. exists only while the current owner occupies the property, D. requires annual renewal. Correct answer B. runs with the land. Appurtenant easements generally transfer with ownership of the affected property. Question number 28. A lender refuses to fund a mortgage because the appraised value is significantly below the contract price. What is the primary reason? A. The buyer lacks homeowner's insurance. B. The title company rejected the deed. C. The broker failed to disclose material facts. D. The lender requires adequate collateral for the loan. Correct answer D. The lender requires adequate collateral for the loan. Lenders rely on market value to help secure repayment of the loan. Question number 29. A property owner grants another person the right to purchase the property at a fixed price within the next 60 days in exchange for consideration. Which agreement was created? Purchase option B, right of first refusal. C, exclusive agency agreement. D, listing agreement. Correct answer A, purchase option. A purchase option creates the right but not the obligation to buy. Question number 30. A commercial appraiser estimates value by dividing a property's annual net operating income by an appropriate capitalization rate. Which appraisal approach is being used? A. Cost approach. B. Sales comparison approach. C. Income approach. D. Gross rent multiplier approach. Correct answer C. B. Income approach. The income approach converts anticipated income into an estimate of value. Question number 31. A homeowner signs a purchase agreement, and both parties complete every obligation required by the contract before closing. Which term best describes the contract after full performance? A. Void contract. B. Bilateral contract. C. Executed contract. D. Executed contract. Correct answer C. Executed contract. An executed contract has been fully performed by all parties. Question number 32. A city changes the zoning classification of a neighborhood from agricultural to residential to encourage future housing development. Which zoning action occurred? Variance. B. Conditional use permit. C. Non-conforming use. D. Rezoning. Correct answer D. Rezoning. Rezoning officially changes the permitted land use classification. Question number 33. A. Title company discovers a recorded lawsuit affecting ownership of a property scheduled to close next week. Which recorded document most likely provided notice? A. Easement. B. Lis pendens. C. Judgment lien. D. Abstract of title. Correct answer B. Lis pendens. A. Lis pendens provides public notice of pending litigation affecting title. Question number 34. A buyer purchases a warehouse for $2,240,000. The lender finances 82% of the purchase price. How much is the buyer's down payment? A. $403,200. B. $448,000. C. $1,836,800. D. $492,800. Correct answer A. $403,200. An 18% down payment on $2,240,000 equals $403,200. Question number 35. A commercial lease requires the tenant to return the premises in substantially the same condition as received, excluding normal wear and tear. This requirement is commonly called a quiet enjoyment covenant. B. Assignment clause, C. Surrender clause, D. Acceleration clause. Correct answer, C. Surrender clause. A surrender clause describes the required condition of the property at lease termination. Question number 36. A homeowner asks a broker whether a nearby parcel will definitely be rezoned for commercial development next year. The broker has no official confirmation. What is the best response? A. Guarantee the rezoning will occur. B. Recommend verifying future zoning plans with the local planning authority. C. State rezoning is impossible. Advise purchasing immediately before prices increase. Correct answer. B. Recommend verifying future zoning plans with the local planning authority. Brokers should avoid speculation and recommend verification from official sources. Question number 37. An appraiser determines that adding a second garage would increase a home's value by only $25,000, even though construction would cost $45,000. Which appraisal principle is best illustrated? A. Substitution. B. Contribution. C. Progression. D. Competition. Correct answer, B. Contribution A. Property's value depends on how much an improvement contributes to market value. Question number 38. A property owner dies without a valid will and without identifiable legal heirs. What generally happens to the property? A. It transfers to the mortgage lender. B. It automatically belongs to neighboring owners. C. It escheats to the state under applicable law. D. It is immediately sold at public auction. Correct answer, C. It escheats to the state under applicable law. Property without legal heirs may transfer to the state through escheat. Question number 39. A lender requires a borrower to purchase flood insurance because the property is located within a designated flood hazard area. Which statement is most accurate? Flood insurance is never required by lenders. B. Flood insurance replaces homeowners insurance. C. Flood insurance guarantees approval of future loans. D. Lenders may require flood insurance for properties in designated flood zones. Correct answer. D. Lenders may require flood insurance for properties in designated flood zones. Properties in designated flood hazard areas may require flood insurance as a loan condition. Question number 40. A buyer asks why a newly constructed home nearby sold for less than similar homes in the neighborhood. The appraiser explains the builder intentionally reduced prices to quickly increase market share. Which appraisal principle is most closely affected? A. Competition. B. Conformity. C. Regression. D. Progression. Correct answer. A. Competition. Increased competition may influence prices and reduce market value. Question number 41. A property owner grants a utility company the permanent right to install underground electrical lines across the property for the benefit of the utility rather than neighboring land. Which interest was created? A. Easement, appurtenant. B. License. C. Profit, a prandra. D. Easement in gross. Correct answer, D. Easement in gross. An easement in gross benefits a person or company rather than another parcel. Question number 42. A shopping center generates $420,000 in annual gross rental income. Comparable properties sell at a gross rent multiplier, GRM, of 9. Using the GRM method, what is the estimated property value? A. $3,570,000. B. $4,200,000. C. $3,360,000. D. $3,780,000. Correct answer, D. B. $3,780,000. Estimated value =, gross income to CREX GRM =, $420,000 to CREX 9. Question number 43. A homeowner continuously occupies another person's land openly, exclusively, and without permission for the statutory period while satisfying all legal requirements. Which doctrine may apply? A. Easement by necessity. B. License. C. Adverse possession. D. Estoppel. Correct answer C. Adverse possession. Adverse possession may transfer ownership when all legal elements are satisfied. Question number 44. A commercial property sells for $2,480,000. The lender finances 84% of the purchase price. How much is the buyer's down payment? A. $396,800. B. $416,640. C. $2,083,200. D. $396,800. Correct answer A. $396,800. A. 16% down payment on $2,480,000 equals $396,800. Question number 45. A borrower receives an email appearing to be from the title company with new wiring instructions one day before closing. What is the safest action? Send the funds immediately to avoid delaying closing. B. Ask the real estate broker to verify the account by text message only. C. Use the new instructions if the email contains the property address. D. Independently verify the wiring instructions using a trusted phone number before sending funds. Correct answer D. Independently verify the wiring instructions using a trusted phone number before sending funds. Wire fraud can often be prevented through independent verification. Question number 46. A lender accelerates a mortgage after the borrower misses several required payments and fails to cure the default. Which mortgage clause allows this action? A. Habendum clause. B. Defeasance clause. C. Escalation clause. D. Acceleration clause. Correct answer D. Acceleration clause. An acceleration clause allows the lender to demand the remaining loan balance after default. Question number 47. A title examiner discovers that a deed was properly recorded years ago, but the current buyer never reviewed the public records. Which type of notice generally applies? A. Actual notice. B. Inquiry notice. C. Constructive notice. D. Implied notice. Correct answer C. Constructive notice. Proper recording provides legal notice to subsequent purchasers. Question number 48. A property owner asks a broker whether a neighbor's proposed development will definitely increase property values. The broker has no reliable evidence. What is the most appropriate response? A. Guarantee values will increase. B. Predict the expected appreciation based on experience. C. Advise purchasing additional property immediately. D. Explain that future market values cannot be guaranteed. Correct answer D. Explain that future market values cannot be guaranteed. Brokers should avoid guaranteeing future market performance. Question number 49. A tenant signs a lease that expires on December 31st. All rent has been paid, and the tenant vacates the property on that date as required. Which leasehold estate existed? A. Estate for years. B. Estate at will, the 100th, periodic tenancy. D. Estate at sufferance. Correct answer A. Estate for years. An estate for years has definite beginning and ending dates. Question number 50. A. Property owner permanently removes support from adjoining land during excavation, causing the neighboring property to collapse. Which legal concept is most directly involved? A. Riparian rights. B. Police power. C. Emblements. D. Right of lateral support. Correct answer D. Right of lateral support. Landowners generally have a duty not to remove natural lateral support from adjoining land.
Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do give it a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, take a moment to check out the other videos on the channel and be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you so much everyone for watching.